Sanvanani, good morning, Dimachero Indi. This is a podcast that brings you everything that is hip and happening at the Directorate of Extracurricular Development and Teaching and Learning with Technology. I am Rovani Namanashi, and as you know, I am your host. So please sit back, go call your friends, because this one is meant for you. We are talking about all things career guidance today with the one and only Mr. Kobus, who has been doing this for 15 years. So please, let's get to it. Mr. Kobus, good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Fine, and you?
I am good. It is so good to have you today.
Thank you for having me.
Same here. I see you also have your staff card there.
I do. Do you want it off?
No, it just like emphasizes that this is from Tshwane University of Technology.
Just to confirm that, yes.
Yes. So you're from SDS?
Yes. 2016, November.
November. Oh, okay. So before we get into a lot on career guidance, maybe we can just start with knowing more about you. So we have some icebreakers with you. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So the first question is, when you were growing up, what was like your favorite, childhood play that you used to do?
Well, yes. I come from Namibia, so there we've got the rivers that when the rain comes, they call them umrambas. They come down very quickly and very strong. And I tend to play there and around that. And one day almost drowned, but yes, we learned how to navigate these as well.
So you taught yourself, I feel like we can say you taught yourself how to swim by
Yes.
that.
My parents made sure that you can swim.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So growing up, can you paint us a picture of, how was that young, Kobus, like that small boy, how was he like?
Yeah, I think quiet in a certain sense, but also like a young boy trying to explore, doing the wrong things, getting punishment for that, and so on. Yes, that a typical young boy.
Mm. In what way is he different from you now? Like when you look back?
I think still, I'm still more when I'm with myself, I'm more a quiet type of person. But when I'm in a group, I like to chat. So I think very similar, but I think I left some of the naughty stuff behind.
Okay. The last one. 3 words that describe you now. Any?
I would say daring,
Okay.
creative,
Mm.
and people person.
Daring, creative, and people person. All right, thank you so much. I think when we live here, we can all say that, even if we forget some of the details, we know that you are daring, you're creative, you are a people's person.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
Okay, so you say that you were born in Namibia. So your varsity experience, where did you go to varsity and what did you study?
Yeah, so I came to Pretoria, and because at that stage Namibia didn't have a university,
Oh, okay.
and later when they got a university, the curriculums were, there were not quite a variety.
Yeah.
So I came to Pretoria. I studied psychology, became a counselor, and after that, I did psychometry and
Okay.
registered for that, and after that, industrial psychology.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, so you are HPCSA registered as a counseling, as a counselor, as a psychometrist, and also as an industrial psychologist.
Yes.
Why those choices?
I think they build on top of each other. As a
Okay.
people person, I like to assist people by counseling them and giving them advice.
Mm.
So that's where that part came in. But I realized that To market yourself in the industry, you needed to go a bit further,
Yeah.
add
Mm.
another step. And that's where the psychometry came in, which is very interesting. And then on top of that, to go towards industrial psychology.
Okay.
That is to market you much wider.
Mm.
So I think that's what it's like in a career. Build on what you have and expand that.
And expand that,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that is very good because today we are sitting here talking on career building, career development. Not only are we speaking to students at TUT, but also the greater audience, and also someone who is probably still in grade 9 watching this, about to choose their subjects, or someone who is in matric now, and they need to go to varsity and they're not sure, what they need to pick. Based on the extensive experience you've had over the years, where does career guidance begin?
Yeah. I think you can think lightly about career guidance before grade 9, but at grade 9, you have to think very seriously about it.
Mm.
Because that's where you have to make your subject choices of which direction I will go at school,
Mm.
in which subjects I will specialize. And if you make an error there, you have to punish yourself by redoing some new subjects after matric. And you
Okay.
don't want that.
You
So rather start there at grade 9 and make sure you select the correct subjects. Yes.
okay. And when you are selecting those subjects, it's not everyone who has access to psychologist or psychometrist. Um, there might also be someone who is in a place where those specialists can't even reach. To someone who might want to understand, how do I choose the subjects? What would your advice be?
Yeah. I would say, except for the fact that they can go to a free website like gostudy.net,
Okay.
where they can go and do a free assessment, I would say take into account your personality. Who are
Okay.
you?
Mm.
Your interests, and also your skills. And
Yes.
that's what we also, when we do career guidance here, is take into account before we give people advice on which direction to go.
Mm.
Because it doesn't help that you're a people person and you want people around you all the time, but you choose to do bookkeeping in a little corner, and you'll die there because
Yeah.
that's not you.
Yeah.
So you have to take like your personality into account.
Mm.
It must be something that's interesting to you, because it'll have to charge you every day. When you wake up, you say, yes, I'm going to do this because I like it.
Mm.
And then the third thing with the skills is, if you don't actually have the skills, like for instance, if you're doing mechanics or something like that, and that's not your thing, then you must certainly select something else that you're good at. Maybe it's languages, maybe it's figures, maybe it's people, yeah.
Mm. Okay.
And combine those when you select then
Mm.
which direction to go.
Okay. Now, when a student is in matric, there is a lot that they need to look at. Not only which university they have to go to, but also they need to look into their abilities, personalities, like you were saying. For someone who is in grade 12 and they're still struggling with understanding with the IQ levels that I have on my abilities, which institutions do I really belong to? We have your FETs, we have University of Technologies, we have broader universities. What would your guidance be on someone who is skeptical, not knowing where should I really apply?
Yeah, I think looking at your marks, um, you can almost start getting an idea here at grade 11 where your marks are going to go. Unless some other miracle happens, your marks change overnight. You get an idea
Yeah.
also with your record exam, and so that should already start guiding you in the direction of what you should choose, and also in terms of what your performance is. If it's at a lower grade or just below average, then maybe you want to look at something like a TVET college. And when it starts getting average, you can go to any university for that matter,
Mm.
but not for all the different study directions,
Mm.
because the APS score will determine if you will be allowed, if you will be allowed for these. And then if you've got an higher average, above average, then you can think about things like, maybe engineering, medical, because they've got very high APS scores for allowance.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. And does someone, okay, let's say we have two people, right? You are wondering if I should have started with maths, full mathematics, or I should have done math literacy. What is the difference in that, for someone who might not really understand which one to take?
Yeah, so it also depends on your skills. If you really struggle with maths, then maths literacy is the way to go.
Mm.
But I get so many people wanting to come to university, and then the prerequisite is pure maths.
Mm.
And then they can pull their hair out of their head that they didn't take it.
Yeah.
And, well, some of them correct the situation by saying, I'll take a year off and I'll go and do pure maths
Okay.
and until I have that. But if you look at us at TUT here, most of the study directions, or not most, some of them will take pure maths.
Okay.
Maths lit will take you in for maths lit. But there's a lot that wants you to have pure maths as well. So
Mm.
you must look at the prerequisites for the different university before you decide in which direction to go.
Okay.
And specifically the APS score.
The APS score.
Yeah.
Maybe we must just ask also, like, what is an APS score? When I'm trying to think of when I was in grade 12, even when I was opening the prospectus, I don't think I was looking at, the APS score or anything. So if someone is considering coming to university and they're opening up, your brochures, and they can see those numbers, 24, 26, what does that mean to them?
Okay.
Yeah.
So APS stands for Admission Point Score, and you can calculate that by taking 5 of your 6 subjects. So life orientation doesn't count.
Okay.
The other 5 subjects. So it's a good guideline to tell yourself, if I want the APS score, it's just one below the percentage that I've got.
Mm.
So if it's 60%, then it's a 5. If it's 70%, then it's a 6. You take those scores, you add them together, and you get your APS score. For the average course at TUT, you should be able to calculate it at approximately, say, between 24 and 28.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You'll be fine to be allowed at most of the courses at TUT. If you want to go specific directions at other universities, it might take you up for engineering, for instance, like 32 APS score, which is quite high.
Mm.
But around here, you can also do engineering with a 28 APS score.
Okay.
So you must calculate that. It's always one lower than the percentage that you got. If it's 60, it's a 5. It's 50, it's a 4. And you calculate those, except for the life orientation.
Okay. And now I've gotten my results, right? As a student, I'm excited. I got my matric results. There is often a confusion that comes when marks are now better than I expected. Maybe prior to that, I just wanted to study teaching, or I wanted to go to nursing, or just, BA in accounting. But now I see my marks. They are now way higher than I expected. And now I'm feeling, maybe I can study medicine, because, the confusion that comes now, not only on a student, but also in a parent. How can we navigate that when those moments come in?
So I think in most cases, as I said, 90 to 99%, it won't be a surprise because you've already got an indication with your grade 11 marks and your record exam marks that's being sent up to for checking purposes. But in case it differs very from that, then you'll have to wait a year because all the applications would have been closed by then. And and do some experience, maybe some work integrated learning or something for that year. But as
Okay.
I said, that would be only like 5 or 4% of people that would really have that issue. For the other people, yes, they should already have an indication by the time they send their record exams,
Mm.
and then according to that, they should start applying, because most universities take that into account
Okay.
when you start applying.
Okay.
They will reconsider afterwards if you bring them another mark, but they already make their decision on the record exams, and
Okay.
in some cases on the grade 11 marks.
Mm.
Mm.
Okay. And for, you mentioned like work integrated learning, if you struggled maybe with getting into university, it's often a very foreign concept. We feel that if we didn't get to university, now we don't know what to do with that, you know.
Yeah.
Most often people will call it a gap year, where we just sit at home and we eat
Yeah.
cereals and chips. But we don't really know how to best use that time, you know.
Yeah.
How does that look like in reality?
I think that would be a good opportunity to grab onto that opportunity and to challenge yourself to say, I am going to enhance my skills. I am going to do a little bit, study a little bit more, go to a website like Udemy or one of those, and start learning a new course, because they're not so expensive. And up your skills, and then also get some exposure. Say, for instance, you want to become a vet assistant, then say, I will do this for free for you guys, but can I get some exposure?
Yeah.
And then you enhance your skills. By the time you reach university and you want to start studying that, you already enhanced your skills. Yes, so there's a lot of things that you can still enhance your skills with in that waiting period. Yeah.
I feel if I'm a student who is going through now, I feel like I can breathe a bit, you know, because
Yes.
it often is a very foreign territory for a lot of students. We don't prepare for what if our marks don't come out the way we wanted it to, or what if it's not the right time for you to be going right now, and maybe you can get into the university that you want to the following year. We don't know how to use that time, you know. We end up picking up maybe bad habits because we have a lot of free time with us. So I feel like getting to know that, and also understanding more on online courses, like you're saying with Udemy and them, like it will be a time well spent for them to develop themselves.
Yeah, and maybe the person want to redo their maths, which is in most cases
Yeah.
happening, then that's the opportunity for them to do that, to have a good mark, to apply for a course that they could not previously have applied for.
Yeah. And I'm actually thinking back to the years that feels like it's a long time ago, but it's not. When I was still in university, I don't think I had a full understanding of really grasping what does it really mean for me to be at university. It felt like a step to, you know, that I had to take after, you know, my matric. I did grade 9, selected my subjects, you know, did grade 12, you know. I'm like, here, now I'm going to university. I applied, you know, studied, but I don't think I fully understood what does this institution mean for my career development. To students that are now in university, be it your first year or final year, what is that understanding that a student needs to have on what does those years of you getting your qualification mean? Yeah, what does those years mean to
I
a
think
student?
firstly, in general, speaking in general, because I am exposed to more than one department of STS, also with the counseling section, I would say try and get a nice balanced life. Make friends. They are very, very important in your life.
Yeah.
Get that opportunity, but also have a balanced social and academic and healthy and spiritual life, for that matter. Just try and get a nice balance there, because now you've got freedom and you don't know what to do with that freedom. And sometimes, yes, oops, it goes the wrong way.
Yeah.
So, and then build on your career while you're at university. I know it's not the ideal to then decide where you're going to go, but rather waste 1 year and change into a direction that you really like than wasting the rest of your life and struggling with something that you now you found out in your first year, no, that's not really what I wanted to do.
Mm.
That's not what I like. So we've got the services to evaluate students and with their skills and their interests and their personality, and write them a report and give them career guidance on which direction to go. Yeah.
So there is still, this is actually refreshing in so many ways, because I can only imagine the number of students, that come in. They were just excited when they were in matric to get to university. Now they finally get to that university and they realize that this is not, the right thing that I should have done. So when they come to SDS, how is that process like?
Yeah, so they make an appointment. On our campus, it's 361. They make an appointment with one of the counselors and or as practitioners, and then first we have a conversation with them. And if we see it's needed, we do a psychometric assessment with them that takes about 3 hours, and then we write a report, and then we give them feedback. We have a proper feedback session with them, and try and guide them in the right direction. If you are lucky, you might have some subjects that you can carry over to another study direction that will be acknowledged for you. But otherwise, it might be a 180 degree turn for you.
Yeah. But I think, like you said, it's rather you have 1 year, that you have to do over than the rest of your life. Because the rest of your life, you need to wake up from 8 o'clock. You're at work from 8 to 4, doing something you don't like.
Yeah.
So.
And I would also say, rather, instead of repeating 1 year at university, take a gap year and then do all your homework, get everything ready, and make sure you go into the right direction. It's so important.
It is. And it's making me realize that, maybe we don't take career exploration as serious as we could, we just think of a qualification as a paper that we need to get. And we don't really go into explore, if I'm feeling that I have an interest in law, how can I actually make sure that do I really like it or I just like the name, Ruvaini Manashi, a lawyer, to actually take in that time, to get into, to volunteer, like you said, to go to a practice, ask, can I be here, for a month or two? And I feel like that will save a lot of people a lot of time.
And also, if you don't have the opportunity to shadow a specific person in that position, you can also go and watch a YouTube video on what is an attorney do on a day-to-day basis, and you get an idea of what they're doing really.
Yeah, we watch a lot of YouTube, a day in the life of a what.
Yeah, that might also help.
That will also help, to see how does that really look like in reality.
And then otherwise, what we also have as a service is we're doing the webinars with the students.
Okay.
And we've got a workshop as well, a proper full workshop with a workbook that if they go through that, most of the answers will already be answered. Sometimes they also know about specific opportunities that the students can go into a specific direction already, that companies outside maybe tell them, listen, we're looking for people here.
That is a very amazing resource for a student to take advantage of, because when they leave university, you have to pay for those services. If you don't know how to do your CV, you're going to pay 200 rand, 300 rand to someone else, whereas it could have been a skill that if you had known, you can come for that. And it's a lifelong skill, because you're going to apply for jobs. And obviously with a lot of people, when you leave university, it's probably your first time that you are going to a formal job interview. So those skills are lifelong. That is... Wow, I wish I was a student. Just I could just rewind time a bit.
And that's also, you're talking about lifelong skills and also transferable skills. That's something that a student can always focus on while they are studying. To make sure that your soft skills are developed, that you do networking with other people, get yourself on a profile on LinkedIn to make sure that people know who you are, get people to verify for your skills and things like that. That's like building your branding.
It is, it is. And can we dive deep into it a bit? Because now we're living in a time of like a digital time, but so many times we don't really understand the platforms that we need to spend more time on as students. We think it's just social media, that we just make, just videos us dancing or something like that, but we don't take advantage of some platforms that can build us in our careers. You spoke of LinkedIn. How important are those platforms? And maybe just give in, more tips on how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's very important, because nowadays, in the olden days, you could get a newspaper, and look for a job or a career. But nowadays, everything is electronic, and it's internet, it's cyberspace that you're moving into. So get your CV also then onto something like Careers 24, PNet, LinkedIn, so that when people search for a person with specific skills and exposure, then they find you. And what makes you different then is the fact that you spend extra time developing extra skills, not just the ordinary, I'm the bookkeeper type of person, but I've got extra skills here that I can offer you.
Yeah.
So it's very important to build on your branding and put yourself out there, put your CV on the internet.
We're living in a time of AI, artificial intelligence, which it is important for us as students to be able to understand what does this mean when we are studying. To a student now who is still in university, most of our students actually, what should they know about an era that they are in?
Yeah, I think that's quite important with things like ChatGPT around to assist you if you need assistance. It's something to use very wisely. We are going to have in Daba, where we're going to do presentations very soon from heads, and it will be 2 days of research presentations, and amongst others, we are going not only to talk about a future-proof career, but also about AI and the influence of AI. And if you use something like ChatGPT, for instance, make sure that you question it. Don't just accept things, and don't stop thinking that are, say, donkey work, the repetitive work that you don't like every day.
Yeah.
Use it for these purposes. But as far as these are concerned, you can also use the AI tools that you can maybe use is for skills development. Look at, I said, Coursera, Udemy. Microsoft also offers skills for students specifically for free.
Yeah.
And if you can grab onto that and prepare yourself in that way, you are going far away. Things like machine learning. Now, when people hear the word machine learning, they say, what? I'm not a technician. What can I do with a machine? But
Yeah.
it is recognize it. So that's what we're talking about, machine learning. But that's a whole new area that we're moving into, that students have to have and have to have a look at. And for professional development, to build their resume, they can look at things like Zeti or Resume AI to scan your resume against existing jobs. So that's as I say, that's repetitive type of work, which will take you hours to do, which AI can do for you in a few seconds.
Yeah. I think also it goes on to say, what do you want to use it for? We can use it for all the wrong reasons, that we don't want to write our assignments.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we can use it to build ourselves, we can use it for career mapping, so that you can understand how does your career look like in the next years, and what can you do now,
to enhance that.
To enhance that, yeah. And I remember when I was in university, we once had our vice chancellor speaking on AI, and then I don't think I really understood the impact of it. But I think now when I'm looking back, I'm starting to realize how to build my career differently. Now that we are in the time of AI, so many other things are also coming up, on the daily basis. To study something is not enough. We need to be able to merge it with the existing trends that are in now. For example, someone can be in teaching, but then they can also take on instructional design so that they can be able to understand, how to merge those two things. How can a student develop their self or the qualifications that they have, in with the trends that are moving on the everyday basis?
Yeah, I think that's quite important, as you say. So they must enhance the existing skills and not take it for granted, but also learn new transferable skills, soft skills. They say people hire on skill, but they fire on personality. So are you good with interpersonal skills? If not, start learning interpersonal skills. Make
Yeah.
sure you get along with people, because in almost every type of work you work with a group of people, and you must make sure that. And maybe something like solution building. Am I solution focused? You'll have to do that in future purposes. That's transferable skills that you can do in any type of career. Can I find solutions, or do I just wait for somebody to give me the answers?
Yeah, that is. I think this episode is probably going to be one of those that every student should pin, to go back into, because it's not only relevant if you're in high school, but it's also relevant when you are in varsity, and also after varsity, because you can always look back to those and see how to develop your career. To a student who is out there and now they are struggling with unemployment, we have spoken a lot about developing yourself. What can be those add-ons maybe of tips that we can give them if you have a qualification, but you are still struggling with landing a job that is within what you studied for? What are those last tips that maybe we can give to our unemployed?
Fiverr with a double R, freelancer, where they can register so that if people need a person with specific skills, then they can go and get them there. Like, for instance, next year when we're going to have the hip hop, I'm looking for a person that can take pictures for the whole weekend. I can go to such a website and go and grab such a person over there. So upskill with online courses, like I've already said, and also do a personal project by which you demonstrate your skills. Oh, I don't know if you know about that person that did with the Legos. He built some other monument, and Lego had to become more like an entrepreneur. Do part-time work, shadow people, do volunteer work. That's the way you can, while you are waiting to get into, or start something where you can offer other people a job in the end by starting your own project. Yeah.
Oh, that is so good. At the end, we always say, what can we say to a student, who is now doing their first year or final year? But there is a lot that we have said through our conversation that I feel like what there's what any student can do is just go back, listen to that again, because those are some helpful tips that not only will they carry you now in varsity, but they're lifelong, So maybe the trick, the turnaround to that question can come back to you as we wrap up our conversation, that when we look into you now, 15 years of, work experience, a lot of knowledge that you have shared with us right now, I just want to have like a glimpse into when you were transitioning from Namibia to South Africa, and now you had told yourself that you want to study psychology. I don't think it was an easy transition. What can you say to that, young man, that was traveling to South Africa saying that I want to be a psychologist, and now we are sitting here with you to share knowledge, in career guidance. What can you say to that person?
I would say follow your heart and never give up. Never ever give up. The other day I've also talked to a person that's now in Egypt, and he gave us feedback on how he struggled through things, and times he thought he's going to give up. By times I thought to give up, I just made a list of people who's important to me, and I said, listen, and for myself, listen guys, I'm doing this for you. Except for doing it for myself, I'm also doing it for you, so that you can be proud of me. Yes.
And I'm sure they are proud. Are they proud?
They are.
They are. Maybe are you proud?
Yes, I am.
That is good. Yeah.
There's always room for improvement, like finishing my PhD this year. But yes, lifelong learning is the other thing that I want to emphasize also. Never stop.
Never stop learning.
Yeah.
You know. Well, I'm looking forward to meeting you next year. And I'm no longer saying Mr. Cobus. I'm saying Doctor. I'll just be screaming from a distance, Doc, wait.
Nah. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay.
And thank you for the courage that you took, from when you came to university to the journey you've had thus far. It has enabled us to sit today and have this conversation and share this with someone else, and they can only be inspired after this conversation.
I really hope so.
So thank you so much for joining us. And thank you also to SDS for all the information, and they are, rewinding, they want to watch every bit of it.
They should.
As they should. Well, there you have it. This is CampusVibe Cast. I'm Ravani Namanashi, and I hope you are inspired. The only thing that I have in my mind right now is how am I going to develop myself further. I hope that is also what you have in your mind. Please share in the chat box, how does your career look like, going on forward. And also, what stood out for you today, so that everyone can just, get inspired by today's episode. But until next time, same place. Don't be told, be here. Bye.